Here with the family, man. Good vibes. Got the music going. Chilling, wait till my name be called.
Jadarian Devontae Davison, aka JD Davison, born October 3rd, 2002. Today's feature had star written all over him in high school, mainly known for his high-flying activities that easily made him one of the top athletes entering college in 2021. During that time, JD had done enough on the high school level and possessed enough elite speed, quickness, and leaping ability to warrant him being considered a one-and-done prospect. He was the 13th ranked player in his class and number 3 overall point guard headed to Alabama for what became just one season, where he averaged 8.5 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game. He played 25 minutes per game and started just 5. With those numbers, you don't expect a prospect to be ready to make the life-changing jump to the pros, but that's exactly what Davison did, even though every draft board had him comfortably below the top 30 first-round picks. Meaning if he was to choose this path, there would be a lot betted on his game and him developing into a rotational piece for an NBA team. Remembering his hype in high school and understanding his reasoning for leaving Alabama after a year where his numbers didn't warrant him being taken in the first round, begs the question, does it really matter where a player develops or not? I see many different opinions on this question, where some believe if a guy has an elite skill that would positively translate to the top level of basketball, even if he didn't produce in the college system, he should leave school and go develop full-time against other pros. While the other side believes if you haven't shown you have a game that can adjust to any environment and any level of basketball, you should take your time and master that level first before going down an unknown path where anything can happen. Although there's truths and examples on both sides, a player like Davison could be a clear example of why it's probably better to be as ready as you can before you make the life-defining jump to a level like the NBA. Yes, he was eventually drafted by the Boston Celtics, but is achieving the dream all it's about? Instant feeling of success? Or is longevity the key goal? If you somewhat understand the politics of basketball, you know that the risk of following this path is a great one to face, where at just 21 years old, some are already feeling the window on his potential is just about closed. Davison has played a total of 20 NBA games, 35 minutes in total in 2 seasons for the Boston Celtics, after falling to the 53rd overall pick in 2022, signing a 2-way contract. Could he have been more ready for immediate impact had he chose a different path of development? What happened? Let's talk about it. Salute to my man DJB on IG for this request. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. JD Davison is a 6'1" point guard from Montgomery, Alabama, although he went to high school in Lidohachi, where he broke out his final 2 seasons into the state's Mr. Basketball in both his junior and senior years. Besides his unique hair, Davison's game was also a standout because of his athleticism that would easily be top levels even in the NBA. To me, I would compare the way he moves to DeMar DeRozan just off style alone, not effectiveness or level of involvement, especially the way he jumps. He averaged 30.4 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists per game as a junior, and won a state title. He was named the Alabama Gatorade Player of the Year. As a senior, he upped his averages to over 32 a game and made the Jordan Brand Classic and McDonald's All-American games, doing all a prospect could to have just one solid college or season removed and head straight to the league. But on the college level, JD didn't show enough, in my opinion, to warrant giving up the remaining 3 years of his eligibility for a second-round pick, which he and everyone knew he would be after the freshman year he had. Stunt number 1, pro too soon. I think since the emergence of the one and done late in the 2000s, many players, their families, handlers, or whoever involved focus too much on the player's achievements in high school or them having a certain skill that will obviously translate opposed to their future as a player. Immediately when you watch a JD Davison highlight, you become excited at the things he can do athletically. Because basketball is more of a visual sport to fans and not cerebral, they equate things that look good to the eyes as overall greatness. It leads to comments like dude is a video game character or he's a bad man, even comparing him to NBA All-Stars of the past and present. This builds the hype of a prospect, one that helps but can go too far if the player doesn't have his own sense of self and reality or someone around to bring them back to a point of what's real. And what's real to me when it comes to JD Davison is he was way out of position, first of all, to be thinking of leaving early until he could sort out what type of future he wanted to have. He was listed in high school his senior year and his 1 year in college at 6'3", and here's where I have an issue. Why do they continuously lie about these players' real height when the day will actually come where the NBA will measure them and expose their true height anyway, with so much potential investment involved? I get it looks good on paper and helps build the hype, but isn't it much more disappointing when you learn some of these guys are 2-3 inches shorter? JD Davison, when measured by the NBA and listed on his NBA profile, is 6'1". 2 inches shorter that make a huge difference in your draft position. Already JD has a game tailor-made for a wing player, preferably shooting guard like his comparison DeMar DeRozan, who is 6'6", but JD is the height of a point guard, a small point guard. With this, he needed to develop his point guard game more in college, and with him coming off the bench and not even starting his first year, all while only playing 25 minutes per game, that's just not enough time. Add to that, his averages illustrated that another year or two would have been perfect for his game. Naturally, he moves like a guy who moved from one position he was playing his whole life to another where he's not as natural. And on the pro level, you rarely have the opportunity to fix that coming in as a second-round pick. Ty Washington comes to mind, rated below JD in high school, but more suited as a true point guard. In the same draft, only Ty went in the first round, giving him a sure 4 years of opportunity instead of JD on a path of anything can happen as the years go by. Stunt number 2, size mixed with ability. Another issue with JD, and one of the biggest reasons he's played most of his professional games in the G League and not the NBA, is because the Celtics realize his natural abilities are best used on the wings, where he could use his speed and athleticism to finish plays instead of neutralizing them by using him as a distributor. There's literally no need for a guy that athletic to play the point guard position and excel, a la Jalen Brunson and a lot of under-the-rim all-star caliber point guards. Because he is the size of a Chris Paul on paper, he almost has to play the point in the NBA, making him a liability in that position, and even when you move him off the ball, he's vulnerable as well because defensively, the offense can create a mismatch with him on the floor. Yes, he jumps out the gym, but how often does a player during the game get the opportunity to fully use that ability? I think Donovan Mitchell is a good comparison. A guy that's also the size of a point guard at 6'3", athletic like JD Davison, but spent 2 years in college where he improved drastically in that span and can shoot the lights out at times, like the 2020 playoffs where he shot over 50% from 3, attempting 9 a game. Mitchell can also naturally run an offense and understands timing off the pick and roll instead of always using full speed like JD. Those two things, his shooting and ability to naturally play both positions, make him more suited for the NBA game than a player like Davison. He's what they call a tweener, where at either guard positions, he's more of a liability. Stunt number 3, drafted by Boston. When the Celtics took JD Davison, it felt his career would go down this path where he simply didn't get the opportunity to showcase his game. Add to that, when you're drafted in the second round, you're at the mercy of teams who don't lose anything by you not developing on your own for the most part. What made Boston not a good spot for him initially in his pro career is they've always had more than enough guards and wings, a position their all-star players have come from since Paul Pierce, Isaiah Thomas when he was an MVP candidate, and Rajon Rondo before him. Currently, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum occupy the most opportunity at the wing spots on the team, with Drew Holiday and Derek White filling the holes around them on defense and ability to set those guys up for success. Davison was never going to get significant opportunity to develop on that team and was taken to pretty much be a star on their G League team, and if he develops into a guy they can use as a scoring punch off the bench, then great. If not, to them, he'd be a great representation for the Celtics on the G League level, which he has been. He's done everything far as numbers, but still isn't getting the opportunity, mainly because in Boston, for him, there isn't much. All in all, JD Davison is still 21 years old, but I think Boston isn't the spot for him. He'll have to figure out if he wants to be a point guard or small but athletic shooting guard in order to fit more naturally in the NBA, something I wish he did before he got here but didn't, and for these reasons, his growth is being stunted. Salute, there's still much time on the board for JD Davison. Hopefully he gets the opportunity he needs. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.